Hi everybody, I'm Erin and welcome back to Waiting Moose, where I talk about books. And I am here today to do a book tag. This book tag was created by Julie at Pages and Pens. So we're just going to go right into the tag. This is the Labyrinth Book Tag. And again, I was tagged in this by Julie, who is also the creator. And that's Julie at Pages and Pens. She's awesome. If you don't watch her, you should. I absolutely love her videos. She's just so good at this. She's like a natural. Someday I'm going to grow up and be her, maybe. So, I'm going to start. It's going to be, sorry folks, it's going to be a long video, so you might want to just accept the fact that I'm going to be a little weird. A lot weird. Could be anything. We don't know yet. So I'm going to start with Sarah, who is a character that found strength without a love interest. My first instinct on this one was Malala from I Am Malala, but that's kind of copping out, right? Because that's nonfiction, and that's an easy one. Yeah, pick a nonfiction, and there you go. So I thought I'd go with a fiction here as well. And I'm going to go with Nona from Orange Mint and Honey by Carleen Bryce. I read this last month, well, in the last couple weeks, because I hadn't picked it up for Diversathon, but I had it on my shelf, and it fit Diversathon and the Own Voices theme, so I read it, and I loved it. I'm actually going to do a review of it, but anyway, I thought that, so Nona is the mother in the story. I don't really want to give a whole lot away because I'm going to be doing a review. So she's the mother. She has a grown daughter, but she also has a toddler. She is a recovering alcoholic, and her grown daughter is very bitter about the fact that she was raised by an alcoholic and she didn't have the greatest childhood. So throughout this book, I think that Nona's lesson was actually to find strength and live a life without a man, and she needed the strength to stay sober, to be a good parent to both of her daughters, as well as strength to rebuild her relationship with Shay, her daughter. It was interesting watching her develop that strength throughout the book, and I totally, that is absolutely, she was, there's more depth to that book the more I think about it than I first thought there was. Next, we have Huggle, a character you weren't sure whether to love or hate at first. And I had trouble with this one because it's not always easy for me to, there's lots of characters I either love or hate at first, but there's not a lot that I'm not sure about. But Louise Penny, who's a Canadian author, and she writes police procedurals. And the first book in her Inspector Gamache series is Still Life. She writes an amazing, flawed character. And you can see this all the way from Ruth, the small-town foul-mouthed poet, to members of Gamache's own team. And you look at Isabelle Lacoste or Jean-Guy Beauvoir, they're horribly flawed. And when you first meet Isabelle Lacoste, do you trust her? Do you not? And Jean-Guy Beauvoir, while he is very trustable at first, throughout the series, there's questions there, and I love that. And then there are even innocuous residents of the town of Three Pines that you don't even think about being questionable, and then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, maybe that person isn't what I thought they were. So no one is safe, and I love that about that, because usually when you're looking at mysteries, especially mysteries, a series mystery where they've got a recurring character set, you know that those characters, it's not going to be one of them. There's going to be a whole cast of characters introduced as suspects, but not the main cast of characters that go on through the books. But Louise Penny is a master at shaking that belief, and in a lot of ways, I'm still not sure whether I should love or hate Isabelle and Jean-Guy after 12 books. There's 12 books in the series, or the 13th? No, there's 12 books. I haven't read the 12th. So after reading 11 books, I'm really not sure whether I should trust them, but I have come to love them. It took a while. Ludo is a character who is too innocent to be real. For this one, I picked Bailey from The First Wife by Erica Spindler, and if you've watched my roundup, my books I hated in 2016, this book is on that list. And it's mainly because she is just that clueless. And this is a woman who I don't remember if she's in her late 20s or early 30s, but she believed in insta-love. And so she goes on vacation, meets a man, and marries him on vacation. Yeah. That is just, what? What did you do? Why did you think that was a good idea? So that's, yeah, Ludo. Next we have Didymus. Didymus? I'm probably saying that wrong. A clueless character you either love or hate. I would love to pick Bailey again for this one because she's kind of a dipshit through that entire book, but that's copping out. So instead, I picked a different book and a series. It's another series, and a lot of you have probably read this series, maybe, maybe not. It's quite a popular series, but Stephanie Plum, in the Stephanie Plum series. There's 23 books in that series, and this is a woman who has not gotten any smarter throughout the books. She makes the same mistakes, and honestly, I get tired of her after a while, but I love the books, and I will probably go back and pick them up again and finish the series and then stop. And then wait till there's a few more books and then pick them up and read a few and then stop. But yeah, Stephanie Plum, can't help it. Jareth, a villain you can't help but love. Queen Mab in the Harry Dresden series. I think she's just genius as a villain. And I mean, she's evil. There's a lot of evil. It's Fae, right? She's a fairy queen. She's the winter queen. And there's a lot of evil, but the way she has maneuvered to get Harry in the position he currently is in, I want the next book, and I want it now, and there's hints that it might be coming soon. I saw some posts on Twitter by Tor, and I'm like, fingers crossed that sucker's coming out soon, because I'm ready to start rereading this series and hating Queen Mab again, but loving her. Fire Dancers, secondary character that really got on your nerves. Natasha in the Domestic Diva series. Hi Bailey, come on. So Natasha is a childhood nemesis of the main character in that series, and the main character in the series, I can't even think of her name right now because apparently I'm having a complete brain fart. But so the main character is divorced or separated from her husband, and as soon as they separated, like, this Natasha chick swooped in and took the ex-husband, Mars, from the main character. And yet, and all she can do is insult the main character over a Sophie. All she can do is insult Sophie over and over and over again through every freaking book. And she insults, like, the ex-husband, and she insults everyone. She's just this evil. She is the kind of person that would, like, make me stabby if I knew them in real life. And I am, like, with the last book, I was like, I'm done. I might have to quit this series because nobody stands up to her. But then things started to happen in the last book, and I'm like, damn it, I'm going to read the next one. So yeah, she's just, she seems to be like, why don't people like me? Why don't people want me to succeed? Why are you sabotaging me? And it's like, in the meantime, she's just a complete and total hose beast to everyone around her. So yes, Natasha from the Domestic Diva series. I didn't think I'd get all fired up about this, but apparently I'm passionate tonight because I have much to be passionate about. It's been a week. Okay, so that was Fire Dancers. Let me catch up to where I was again. Next is Labyrinth, a book with plot twists you did not see coming. Now, I feel like Game of Thrones, again, would be a cop-out on this because Game of Thrones, hello? In the first book, I was like, whoa, what just happened? Who just died? No. So Game of Thrones, cop-out. So I'm going to go with a similar genre, and a book I've actually compared to the Game of Thrones, and I'm going to go with Kushiel's Dart by Jacqueline Carey. There's so many things that happen in that book, and so many surprises for me for the direction things took and where things ended up, that there were plot twists everywhere. And that moment when I sat there and went, ooh, I've been George R.R. Martin'd. Which means basically I'm saying Game of Thrones, but not Game of Thrones. The Bog of Eternal Stench. I love this. I love this tag. These are awesome. What trope or writing style will immediately make you put down a book? Insta-love. Insta-love. And any instance where it has not made me put down the book, I've hated the book. There's also the closely related love triangle that was way overdone for far too long and really poorly done. So insta love basically makes me think that there's nothing to those characters, so that the only thing that can possibly attract them is their appearance, and there's nothing beyond that, so there's no need for any attraction or relationship to go any deeper than their appearance, and hop into bed, life is great. Which is also, yeah, anyway. Also kind of the problem with another book that we're going to talk about shortly. I can put up with the love triangles to a point, because in a lot of cases, you get to the point where you're just like, you know what, you've dragged this on far too long. No. Far too long, and now the person in the middle of that love triangle or quadrangle or however many people are absolutely worshiping at the altar of our main character. She or he is a completely selfish son of a bitch, and I start to hate them because they are leading on these people who genuinely care for them. But at the same time, I'm like, honestly, how many people do you know have ended up in that situation where a love triangle has dragged on for months or years? It's unrealistic. There are so few people, and it certainly isn't going to happen to your awkward teenager, oh my god, I can't do anything and nobody likes me, but oh, look, all the cool boys love me, or the Molly Ringwald Sweet 16 geek boy loves me, but the Studley hero also falls in love with me, so I'm going to go with him. Anyway. Yeah. Moving on again. It's going to be a great night. I should have wine. Things to do before my next video. Get wine. And by next video, I mean in 5 minutes. And by get wine, I mean go downstairs. The oubliette. What book or series will... The oubliette? 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 Bring out my non-existent Canadian French. What book or series will you never finish? I have a lot to choose from on this sucker. So I narrowed it down because I could name off all these series and you're like, what? What is she talking about? So I'm going to go with, actually I've got 3. I'm going to go with 3 now. I was only going to do 2. 1, because I absolutely love the Harry Dresden series by Jim Butcher. It's kind of remarkable that I cannot stand his Furies of Calderon series at all. I've read 2 books in it, and that was really 1.5 too many, because those books go on and on and on. Also, this one is very contentious, I'm aware, but the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas. I went into it thinking it was a trilogy. I don't know why I thought it was a trilogy, and I could see that it could have and should have ended at the end of the 3rd book. And I was dumb enough to get the 4th book. And for me, the 4th book just continues to drag everything out far beyond when it should have been. And it's what I was talking about with the love triangle. I'm starting to dislike her because she's supposed to be a strong character, but she tends to need to be the victim of whatever man seems to come along. Anyway, that's probably not the way I should say it, and I'm going to get a lot of hate for that because that's not really what's happening. But anyway, I just feel like for someone who's supposed to be a strong female character, I'd like to see her make some more of her own decisions instead of sitting back and letting things go on around her. And then the other book or series, do I have a... No, it actually is mentioned somewhere else. So those are the 2 I'm going to go with. Great. 2, and we'll talk about the last one. The other one, shortly. Oh, I should not make faces ever. Okay, the 13th hour. Also, excuse my hair. I'll talk about that in a moment too. What book kept you up all night, or did you read in one day or sitting? Now, this is a book I read a long time ago. And it's Guilt by John Lesquois. Lesquois? I remember staying up really late because I needed to know what the hell. And like I said, it's been a long time since I read this book, but basically there's a lawyer, he's got a client, and he's trying very hard to get his client off. I believe his client is his friend as well, and this client is accused of murdering his own wife, the client's wife, right? So the client is accused of murdering his wife, and our intrepid main character, hero, Dismas Hardy, which there's a whole series by this author, and it's an awesome series, And this is the book that introduced me to it, but I was just like, I need to know. I have to know who did it. Like, there's answers here. And I stayed up, and I was totally rewarded. It was absolutely worth staying up late to read that. And I mean, I read that. That's probably pre-2000 that I read that sucker. Crystal balls. What book do you wish the main character had a crystal ball so they could avoid miscommunications? First Drop of Crimson. This is by Janine Frost, and it's a vampire novel, and it's a spin-off series, basically, of the Night Huntress novels, which starred Cat and Bones, and they were fairly decent characters. Cat was pretty strong. She started out really strong. She wasn't annoying. You know, she did what she had to do. She was a vampire slayer, man. She's Buffy, but different. I started reading the spin-off series, the Night Huntress universe, or world, or whatever the hell it was. And this was the first book in that series, and it's Denise and Spade. And Denise spends all of her time in her own head making up reasons why Spade doesn't love her. And meanwhile, Spade's like vampire guy out there trying to do shit and clean shit up for Cat and Bones. And yeah, so she spent all of this time. And I think that if she had a crystal ball so that she knew that Spade wasn't, you know, whatever, we could have gone to where the conflict really was, which was a lot of external conflict that completely got ignored so that we could pay attention to Denise's little internal crisis. And I wanted to punch her, and I still love Spade, and I still hate Denise. You have no power over me. What book or series didn't you understand the hype for? And I'm going to go 50 Shades of Grey. I honestly... having been in an abusive relationship, I see that as a very emotionally abusive relationship. I'm not talking about the sex. I'm talking about the way he treats her all the rest of the time. I'm talking about the fact that this woman walks away from all of her friends to have a relationship with him. That she completely, like, I didn't finish the first book, so I haven't read any others. And the trailers for the 50 Shades Darker movie are driving me nuts on YouTube right now. And I'm just like, can I unsubscribe from this? Can I, like, block 50 Shades trailers? Because seriously, anyway, I just think that 50 Shades of Grey overly romanticizes a relationship where there is an inequality in power, and the person with the excessive power is using it to, and that's really the only real attraction there is, anyway, I know it's romantic and the movie's coming out on February 14th, gag me, it's ridiculous. Dance, Magic Dance, a book that will always make me happy. This one was really tough because, well, it's sort of really tough. There's too many to choose from. But I'm going with the Death series of books in Terry Pratchett's Discworld series. If I had to pick, I could probably narrow it down to Hogfather or Mort. Don't make me choose, because those are both really awesome. But there's always going to be a special place in my heart for Thief of Time, which is also by Terry Pratchett, also in the same series, and it also stars Death. But it's about the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, and who doesn't want to read that? Actually, it's also got the 5th horseman of the apocalypse in there as well. And actually, Terry Pratchett is another series that I had started a reread of, and I need to get back to that reread because I just love Sir Terry Pratchett. I love the Brits. I really do. So that is my Labyrinth tag. I need to tag some people for this. So, I'm going to tag Carrie Ann at Woman vs. Books. I'm going to tag J.D. Archer at J.D. Archer? I'm so smart. Oh, what's really bad is I've got, like, you know, a handful of followers. I'm like, I don't know who actually watches my videos, so I don't want to, like, tag people and then have them go, I didn't see that video. But I know Carrie Ann and JD watch most of my videos, and I'm so insecure. I am also going to tag Lisa at Brand New Book Smell. Now I'd have to go and forget names. Yeah, so I'm going to tag those 3. So I hope they really enjoy doing this, because it was a lot of fun, and it made me think about some books that I maybe haven't read quite so recently, and like guilt. So anyone else that wants to do it, I think it's an awesome tag. Absolutely, if you're going to tweet about it, I think I will put the hashtag that Julie wants us to use when we make our videos in the down bar down below, so that she can see that you've done them as well, because I know she wants to know who's done it and what they did with this tag. So have a great day. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon. Bye!